Is right now the best time to be alive?
Oh, you mean right now during this global pandemic? Is this the best time?
Yes. Well, I'm Matt.
And I'm Carter.
And welcome to It Is Kind of a Gray Area. It's your line, dude.
Normally I say something right there, but
Okay.
today I didn't. How'd that feel, guys? Did it feel weird if I just disappeared and didn't say things? Maybe think about that next time.
You would be
You know
missed.
what you did.
What did we do?
I don't know, but they know.
If you don't know what you did,
Then I'm not telling you.
you should know. So mature.
Right.
So mature.
Right. So right now,
Yes.
in the world, there are certain things that could be referred to as up. But yeah, so, there's a global pandemic. We have a plague going on. It's killing a lot of people, so that's bad. The political sphere in America right now is kind of like up.
It's a great way to just describe
Everything
in the world right now.
Yes. But, to be fair, we're not at constant threat of, marauders coming through our village and, killing everyone.
Or as the president calls them, protesters.
Right.
Yeah.
But, seriously, though, if you compare, living today in the world versus living, let's say in the Middle Ages in England, you and I would have very different lives. We would be showering, or not showering.
We'd be showering.
It would be
crazy.
We would be bathing once a month. We would have one set of clothes that we never wash. And, we would have really crappy, horrible jobs and probably very short lives.
And literal crap buckets in our rooms.
Yes. But there's this thing now with the news being this 24-hour news cycle of just constantly oh, this bad thing happened, this bad thing happened. Or are you about to take a nap? Or remember that this bad thing happened. Oh, you're going to go pick up your kids from school. Here's all the horrible things that could happen to them and have happened to other children in the last 24 hours.
Yes, but before you enjoy your nap, napping too long could kill you.
Yes.
Napping too short could kill you also. You got to get just the right amount of nap. Calm down!
Right. Yeah, so with that, it's very easy to be the world is insane and horrible. You take these really small groups of there's 5 people who are the earth is flat, and you talk about it in the news, and you walk away oh my God, there's so many people who think the earth is flat, when really it's just 3. It's more than 3.
1,000.
Yeah, but my point is they make these tragedies seem like they happen constantly when for most people it's not that constant. You can go your whole life without encountering a lot of the things we see in the news.
Yeah, most of them.
But we're made to feel like they're lying around every single corner always.
Yeah.
So it's easy to think that this is the worst point in history, especially right now politically. But is it? I know as Americans, we tend to think of is the world more dangerous? Is America more dangerous? No, the world. Yeah, America. Is it more? No, the whole world. I know, all 50 states.
I know, yeah.
Is
Canada
it
and
more,
Mexico. I get it. And we're including the tip of Florida. I got it, man.
Yeah. You got to count the tip.
But yeah, the world, you're saying the world overall.
Yes, the world overall, because we have this tendency,
all
like
of
I
America.
said.
Okay.
Yeah, again, the whole world, New York and California, we got it.
Is our world.
Right. But yeah, we don't have as many dangerous diseases now. There's still cancer, there's still coronavirus, and many other things you can die from. But there's a lot of diseases that we have treatments for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things like diabetes where it's not a death sentence anymore.
Yeah, most things were a death sentence just 100 years ago.
Yeah, so if you look at that, we're better off. In terms of war, there's not nearly as much conflict in terms of conquering other countries or all of that going on. There's still fighting, there's still wars, but it's on a very different scale now.
I'm going to say right now is not the best time to be alive.
For the two of us, it's easy to be I don't know, maybe not. If you're black, right now is a very different time in history.
Yeah.
If you're a woman, right now is a very different time in history. versus all that preceded it. Not to say that things are good. Obviously, they're not as good as they could be.
Yes.
But I think it would be stupid to say that right now it is worse than it was 100 years ago. If you went back like 100 or 200 years, definitely worse.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yes, we are very fortunate, we acknowledge, to be white males.
Yes.
I would say the best time to be alive was 20 years ago.
It's such a specific... Okay.
Well, there was a big market crash in 2006.
You just want to be 10 years old again.
2007. But before that, it was like economy's doing really well. Like
you were a child.
Things weren't super crazy
for a child.
Yeah, I didn't
at the time.
Aladdin was new.
Right.
A lot of good things 20 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
They
were making those variety ketchups that came in different colors.
I hated those. The green was disgusting. I know they said they all tasted the same, but there's a mental factor that just they didn't take into play. It's not, guys.
Right.
It's not the same.
Right.
I couldn't eat it.
If you put down like a sandwich that's covered in mold and then a sandwich that's not, and you told someone this sandwich is covered in mold, but we've made it to look fresh. This one is fresh, but we've made it look like it's covered in mold. Which one would you eat?
That is definitely an interesting experiment. You're actually asking me?
Yeah, which one would you eat?
I would just close my eyes and eat the one that looks like it's covered in mold. The entire time thinking, I feel like I'm being punked.
Right.
But this is worth it to meet Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, I would...
I'd eat a moldy sandwich to meet him.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But yeah, so back to this point.
Yes.
Okay, so like the numbers, there's no certain thing. It's hard to quantify. So despite a lot of people going back and forth of saying like this is the most peaceful time or this isn't the most peaceful time, it's just very, very subjective.
20 years ago.
So even just looking at my own life as a white male of like what would be expected of me and what my life path would look like.
Yeah.
Previous points in history, it would be expected that I get married, that I stayed married. It'd be expected that I stay in the same job my entire life.
That's true.
There's a lot of things like that where even being a privileged class of person, I still prefer the present day to the past. Even if things weren't as bad for me in the past as they were for other people in the past, I'd still take the present.
Yeah, I mean, even if you were one of the higher up class in like Pride and Prejudice type situation, still better now. Yeah,
plus also with my modern sense of morality to live in those times and be aware of the disparity between like minorities and women and everyone, and like things are good for you, but like how horrible everyone else is being treated. I wouldn't enjoy any part of that life.
No, you just have to do your best to treat everyone around you as best as you can, but it doesn't mean anything because that's not the culture.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
I think right now, honestly, in my personal opinion, despite all of the problems in the world, we have access to incredible technology, we have access to incredible information, and despite the fact that we could easily move to a very cold and calculated world that's driven solely by technology, we're finding this massive resurgence in humanity lately. Mm-hmm. Huge pushes, like a second wave of like gay rights that led to gay marriage in the States, a second wave of civil rights that will hopefully lead to police reform. Yeah. There's all of these great things that are happening right now that are hard to live through, but are at the end of the day will probably make us better off after the fact.
Just like the first wave did.
Yeah, so even though things suck right now, I have more hope for what we're capable of than I have doubt for what we're capable of. So I think ultimately, in my opinion, right now is the best time to be alive.
Yeah, and this is our own personal opinions.
Yeah.
20 years ago, right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's ask the universe. The universe knows all and sees all. So let's see.
So I guess you would be no. Right now it's not the best time.
Yeah, I'd say no.
Yeah, and then I'm saying that it is.
Okay.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Boom. 20 years ago. Well, no. 20 years ago is my preference. But right now is not the best time to be alive.
Right.
We apologize. But if you're just being born in the next couple minutes, then maybe you got a better shot at it.
Yeah. Welcome to the pain game.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to get started. See what I did there?
Yeah, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Clock on the wall. It sees all.
Right. Are you tired of looking at a wall without knowing what the time is? Hang up a clock wall and never look at your wall again without knowing what the clock is going to say. Clock wall, buy one now.
That was great, Carter. Gotta hand it to you. That was fantastic. I'm like, the clock on the wall. And then he went off on a whole infomercial. Right. Okay, so would you rather live in ancient Egypt? Okay, not just Egypt now, because it's fine.
Chilling with my boy Ra and Anubis.
Yes, and Ramses the second or third. Yeah, you get to pick which one. So you get to live in ancient Egypt or in prehistoric times. So you're going full Fred Flintstone or full Prince of Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah, Prince of ancient Egypt.
All right, so prehistoric times. Now, do I have my own? Am I still like or am I like I've lived there my whole life? I only know what I would know in that.
You are transported right now.
Okay, boy, wow.
Why isn't that working? Why are you still here? Get that fixed.
So if I'm in prehistoric times,
yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go with that because I'm thinking here if I'm in ancient Egypt, this is kind of like our what time's the best time to be alive thing of like. If I'm in Egypt, odds are I'm not the Pharaoh, which means I'm like, like a slave. Good chance of that. A farmer, maybe a builder.
You look a little Jewish. It's the beard.
Okay. I don't know if it's that. Can we say that? I don't know.
I'm going off of like Bible stories.
Right.
Yeah.
If you say someone looks Jewish, is that offensive?
You look Jew-ish.
I don't know. Let's move on.
Some of my best friends are Jewish.
Right. Yeah, but okay. So you're living in Egypt. You're beholden to that culture. Whereas if I go to prehistoric times with all of my future knowledge, I could put my tribe of hunter-gatherers together, and we would be like we would kick ass. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, as long as they listened to you and they weren't just like scared of you and try to beat you with clubs, which they would be better at. You could be their leader and you could rule.
Yeah. Well, they would have language. It's not like they weren't like. Complete like morons.
Like,
like they had language.
They're like,
yeah. A lot of people don't think about this, but Neanderthals, like they had complex tools. They had boats. Like clearly they had a way to communicate. So, you'd learn that language and then they're all like hunting and gathering and you're like, guys, look, let's gather up some wood here. Let me show you something. You whittle out a couple of wheels, you make yourself a little cart, and you're like, hey, here we go. Now we just throw all the stuff we're gathering onto here. We can just carry it around easier. But, you could lay the groundwork for a lot of modern science and philosophy and, like, really build an advanced civilization pretty quickly.
You would be an inventor. You would be, like, just an inventor, a scientist, a creator of, like, everything.
Yeah.
Like, you would build the foundation for their entire civilization.
Yeah.
That would be amazing, actually. Okay. So I'm gonna say prehistoric times.
Yeah.
You totally convinced me. I was thinking ancient Egypt, but you're right. Unless I have like a definite, pretty good place among the pharaohs, and even then they killed people. Oh wait, if a pharaoh died or was, like all of their servants or slaves were buried with them. So no, screw that crap. I'm not getting in on that. I want to be prehistoric times.
Yeah. The reason I'm saying that, like, you could kind of change things versus like, you could just change things in Egypt. It's like I said, you show up in Egypt and you're like, hey guys, let me tell you about the future and all this technology we have. And then they're just going to like kill you for being a crazy person. Yeah. You go back to prehistoric times and you're like, the tree, it has a spirit. It'll kill you if you anger it. And you're like, all right, watch this. You go over, you're like, hey, tree, you're stupid. Kill me.
No one's ever tried that.
He's afraid of you. The tree fears our new god.
He is shaking.
Oh, you know what? Fine. That'll work for now. But that's my take on it. So what do we find out? Right now, it's not the best time to be alive.
Yep, we found out right now it's not the best time to be alive, and that we would both want to go back to prehistoric times.
Yes. After finding out that right now it's not the best time to be alive, we want to just start over from the dawn of time.
Yeah, and just be local inventors.
Yeah. Speaking of starting over, if you're just joining us for this episode, you might not realize this, but there's a lot of other episodes, so go back and check them all out.
Yep, make sure you check those out. But before you do, make sure you comment, like, and push the subscribe button on this episode so you don't miss out on future episodes.
Yep, and train your pet dinosaur to collect the newspaper.
That's not practical. Ring the notification bell.
Get travel insurance on your Titanic cruise.
And remember that time keeps slipping away. Slipping away. Thank you, Ronnie Millsap. And as always, IKAGA.
Yeah!